verse of the day is Psalm 139:16, and it says, "You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed." I feel like a verse like today could be kind of confusing, right? Because it's like, okay, God knew every single day before I was born. So am I in some sort of simulation? But that's not what it means, I don't believe. I think it highlights the fact that you existing was purposed before you even existed. Like he planned for you before you actually came into life, before you were born and entered the world, and he knew your beginning from your end. And I think that translates to me that my life here has purpose because he planned for it. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't have purpose. I wouldn't be here if God didn't plan for it or if he didn't create me for a certain reason. You saw me before I was born. That tells me that God saw a need for my life, that he saw, okay, the world needs one of you. Let's go ahead and put you in. I believe that's how God sees all of us. We all have unique purpose. We all have unique identities. And when we chase God, we're able to own those unique identities and those unique quirks that we have and the things that set us apart, which the devil so badly wants to convince us are bad things. And he wants us to get into the narrative of, oh, what's wrong with you? Because you're not like everyone else. You're actually different. You're set apart, when that is actually the most beautiful quality to have, because it solidifies the unique reason why you're here and why God created you, because there is no one like you. He doesn't create copies. He created you because the world didn't have you yet, and that's why you're here. I don't know about you, but that kind of fires me up and inspires me to want to be everything God created me to be. And I think I've seen firsthand the effects of getting to know God is the same thing as getting to know you. Because the more you pursue God, the creator, the more you understand the creation. God is the one that created us. He understands why we were created. So getting to know the one that created you is the most wise thing that you can do, because you're going to understand so clearly why you're here and why you were created. From my own experience, before I started following Jesus and had a relationship with him, it cost me two things. It cost me my identity. I was a very different person than I was post Jesus. And it cost me my freedom, because I was so bound by fear that I would never speak. I was so bound by fear and insecurity that I was a shell of a human. I was a copy. I was trying to be a copy. I was trying to be who everyone else liked. I had no clue what I stood for, what I liked, or what my opinion was, because I thought I needed to be like someone else to be loved. I thought I needed to prove my worth, and it's the opposite. Today's verse reminds us that God wanted you on the planet, and he knows why you're on this planet. He knows your first day and your last day and what happens in between. And doing life with him and getting to know God is going to help unravel each day that you live on this planet. Today's verse also reminds me that God knew that I was going to fall away. God knew that I was going to be lost about my identity and suffering with certain bondage and certain strongholds. He knew those days would happen. And he knows about the days that I am still struggling in and the days that I will still struggle in. He knows everything. But the good news is he uses that struggle. There is purpose that comes from all of the struggle. And just one example is, because of my struggle before Jesus, it drew me to him. I tried to do things my own way and it didn't work. And I found anxiety, confusion, depression, sadness, a loss of who I am, just all of the emotions, which drew me to find out for myself if God was real and to give him another shot. And it was by giving him another shot and realizing that my way wasn't working that I really discovered who I am. I really discovered who God is. And everything started to come back together, and he started to heal my heart and remind me who I am and show me who I am. I started to actually learn who he created me to be for the first time. And I think from that moment until now, it's been a journey of learning new layers of who I am and learning new layers of who God is. And I think that's the whole point, right? in relationship, you discover new things about the people you're in relationship with in the right time. You don't just discover everything all at once, especially if you're married. People change and people evolve and grow, and you have to learn new things about people. It's a journey with Jesus. That's why it's a relationship. You're learning new things, and you're learning how to be more obedient each and every day. You're learning the power of being obedient because you see that it really just protects you from sin and draws you closer to freedom and closer to relationship with Jesus. And that just means you're going to be more and more free in your soul. So if today's verse says that he saw me before I was born and every day of my life was recorded in his book, that every moment was laid out before I was even born, that tells me that if I'm in the middle of a hard day or a hard moment or a hard experience or whatever it may be, God knew this day would happen. And so he also knows that you're going to get through it. He also knows what tomorrow will hold and what will hold after this. And I think it's just a good reminder that God has our entire life in the palm of his hand, that he has your whole life in his hands, not just the good days, but he has the bad days in his hands too. And he understands how to help you navigate through it. He knows how you're going to get through it. And I think really the hard days just draw us closer to him because they force us to remind ourselves that we need him in our weakness, that he is our strength in our weakness, that he has purpose come from the pain because it really draws us that much closer to him and helps us understand that he really is the only thing that we need. He really can meet all of our needs. He really can comfort our heart. He really can change our heart. He really can set us free from sin and bondage and anything that's holding us down or confusing us or lying to us. And it really just brings freedom. I think a verse like today could instill a different level of trust that, okay, God, today's a hard day, but you have my whole book written out. And so I trust you with my whole life. I trust that you're going to help me get through this because you know beginning from end. And if you know beginning from end, you're the best person for me to put my trust in because you know how this plays out. So overall, today's verse reminds me of three things. It reminds me that I was created for a reason, that God thought, oh, the world needs one of me and the world needs one of you. That if I'm having a hard day, it's temporary and God knows my beginning from my end. So leaning on him will help me get through it. And three, I have purpose to be here. There's a unique reason why I'm on this planet. And the more I pursue relationship with him, the more I'm going to figure out what that is. Okay?